Hi guys, it's Figgy Fish Guy here. Here with Metalfoes, a deck profile that I absolutely love. This is my favourite Pendulum deck ever. Not very good currently in the modern format, but I'm going to be taking it to a few locals, have a bit of fun, and test it around. So this is my build. Feel free to change it. Any suggestions at all, pop down in the comments. I'd be happy to hear them. So standard Metalfoes list. We play triple Gold Driver, triple Stealing, triple Volflame. Silvered? This is a silvered, not a stealing. This is stealing. And I'm playing 3 Bismuth Gear. For anyone who doesn't know, they all have the same effect as a scale. Pop one face-up card you control, set one Metalfoes spell or trap. Bismuth Gear is the only effect monster. If he's popped in the end phase, you get to search another Metalfoes monster. Really useful, just grab like the Volflame for your rank 7 plays next game, or just as a beat stick, basically. Only problem is you can't pen summon the Bismuth Gear, so some people play it at 2. I still choose to play it at 3. Because of things like Rescue Hamster, which we'll get onto. So yeah, pretty much standard lineup there. Moving on to engines, we got a Rescue engine. Rescue Rabbit, pretty much just summon it, banish it, summon 2 normal monsters, go into Electromite. If they ash this, then I cry. If they imperm it on summon, I cry. So this is the reason this deck isn't that good. Its starters are a bit slow compared to things like Pendulum Magicians. You can play the same engine as Pendulum Magicians, but I'm preferring not to, like a pure-ish build. So that's Rabbit. Rescue Hamster, by far the best Pendulum monster in the deck. You can either on summon tribute it to target one level 5 or lower, so your Electromites that the Metalfoes you pop in scale, summon 2 of those, it's sort of like a rescue Rabbit. Or you can put it in scale, banish it, and add 2 of the same name from the extra deck back to your hand, which is really cool because you send it off Electromite, add it to hand of Electromite, activate it, and go +1 from there. So yeah, really good monster there. Other engines, playing a small Abyss Actor engine, so 3 Wild Hope. For those who don't know, when this card is destroyed, which includes being popped as a scale by your own Metalfoes, you get to add an additional Abyss Actor card. So the targets for that are Curtain Raiser, which is just a summon for Electromite, or Superstar. So what Superstar does is, when it's Pendulum summoned, your opponent can't have your spells and traps. So you can't get like Torrential, you can't get, there can only be 1s, you can't be Bottomless Trap Hold if people are still playing that. Also, it's a level 7, so you can make like Absolute out of it and Volflame. So you can add this. So this is always a plus. This is just a rank 4 fodder basically. But pretty good engine to pop with scales. And then the final engine, we're playing a Klee engine. So you just activate Scout, pay 100, search Monolith, pop this, Pendulum summon them both, make Infinity out of that. Nova then Infinity. So always a pretty good engine. When you open the Monolith though, it is a bit annoying. But you can use this for your fusions because it is a normal Pendulum monster. Also, it's just a beat stick, 2/4. So remember that then, guys. That's the monster lineup. You could play the Dark One engine. I'm testing around with it, but this is the best build I've found so far for what I like. Spells, double Painful Decision. You don't want to play 3 because you never want to open more than 1 because it's a hard once per turn. Basically, dump any Metalfoes scale, add any Metalfoes scale apart from Bismuth Gear. So it's a really good hand fixer. Double Summoners up, search out either Volflame or Scout. Enough said. The targets for your Metalfoes, so 1 Metalfoes Fusion, 1 Metalfoes Full Fusion. Full Metalfoes Fusion, sorry. This is sort of like Super Poly, apart from any fuses your board and you don't discard, so it's a quick play basically. You can't use it the turn it's set, so it's basically set up for next turn. 1 Metalfoes Fusion, probably people know this from Striker, you keep sending it back to the deck, so you need to play 1. Really good card, pretty much what I go for first to make your fusion monsters from there. This is a weird sort of fusion Pendulum deck, which is why I love it so much. Obviously, 3 Super Poly. We have the best generic targets that are in archetype. So you've got to play this. You can play the Gate 0, which searches this, I'm pretty sure. But again, I'm not playing the Dark One engine. Moving on to traps. 1 counter. I'm not playing Combination, which is the other Metalfoes trap, because I never really liked it when I played Metalfoes back in the day. Basically, with this, if a card is destroyed, you activate it, special summon 1 Metalfoes from deck, and then not the turn it's sent to grave, you can banish it to add a extra deck Metalfoes back to your hand. So it resets your hand, adds you back your scales. You can use it on your next turn after you set it, because you can pop your own scales again and summon 1 from 3. So it's pretty much a 3+1, or you can use it in a pinch to survive a turn. Back when Metalfoes were a problem, if they were ever a problem, people started playing things like Vanities in them, because obviously Vanities emptiness, because you never send anything to grave. So going off that, I'm testing 2 summon limit, just because we make our board We flip this in the opponent's turn, they pretty much stun their players and they can't play. In our turn, if we need to extend, we can pop this with the scale, get a search, get a set, and then we don't worry about it anymore. So far, when I've flipped this up face up, obviously not searchable, but when I have opened this, I win the game. Online and at a locals I played, basically no one can play through this in the current format unless they open their back row hate, which no one is. So yeah, summon limit, even in Pendulums and especially Metalfoes, because you can pop it, actually a really good card. So keep an eye on that one, guys. Hopefully going to pick up a third, but I only actually own 2. I don't know sure if I pay 3 because it is kind of a brick. Extra deck, Electromite. This is our Link Monster Pendulum Magicians. This is our one. You know, it's a Metalfoes. Funny enough, this came up as a Super Poly target. I used it for a Super Poly, and someone asked, "What did you send?" Reading the card, and Electromite, and actually I had to check that it was a Metalfoes, so that was quite funny. Yeah, make this as quick as you can and hope to win. And then words of Triff, stick to the game plan. Other links: 1 lamp for Linkus, generic link 2. Could be the Cyframe link, but I don't own one because I've never really picked up that package. 1 Nightmare Phoenix, just deal with back row. The only problem is no downward arrows, so no pendulum summoning from that. The 10-year link 3. I was struggling for a while to look for a link 3 for this deck. Everyone else is going for like Zephyr Metatron, which is a pretty good one. But I actually like this because if you have this, you can pen summon 3 Metalfoes and then just pop 3 cards your opponent controls, which is kind of dumb. Especially as we're playing normal monsters, it's actually quite good to use the normal monster support. Otherwise, it just can't be destroyed by a effect monster, which is actually not bad for a Link 3. It stays around a while. Got 3 arrows downwards as well, so that's really good for pendulum summoning as well. Obviously then 1 Appaloosa with the 3 downward arrows as well. This is a Link 4 we go into. You can make this actually really easily because it does not need effect monsters. It just needs 4 monsters of different names. So you can use your Metalfoes. Some people don't like Broadsword because you have to use effect monsters. This just works anyway. Really good card. Make loads of negates. The highest I've ever done is I've made 7 negates with this board. It's 4 of them from this. The other 3 being Vortex, Infinity, and Apex Avian, which is inside. But yeah, really good link 4. Fusions, 1 Alcahest, 2 Mithrylum, 1 Crimsonite. We're not playing Orichalc or Adamante. Adamante because it's just a bad Super Poly target. Orichalc because I couldn't find the space and it's probably the one I want to cut the most. Alcahest, really good to make it turn 1. You can steal your opponent's stuff, which is fun. Sort of like a pseudo Relinquish, but quick play. I've just made this when I've kind of bricked. I've made like Infinity, Electromite this with a Super Poly set. And you just win the game from there because you can take their stuff and then Super Poly their stuff, your Electromite, and whatever they've got left into Crimsonite. Only playing 2 Mithrylum because I really couldn't find the space for 3. Really good in the grind game and just removing threats. This gets around things like the Marine Cess, Field Spell, which makes their board breakable into Super Poly, which is quite nice, things like that. Also, you can recycle your Electromite with this, which is really fun, to be honest. 1 Crimsonite, the best Super Poly target, 1 Metalfoes monster, plus 2 monsters of 3k or less. So you can do 2 Colossus, there's just pretty much anything, a Pendulum board, most things. It's quite funny to play, especially if you're going against Pendulums and you go first, set a Super Poly. When they make the Electromite, you can fuse like their Pendulum summon targets into this. Zombies, I've used this on quite a lot of times. Quite fun. Moving on to 1 Vortex and 1 Absolute. Pretty much just make 2 level 7s. Make this, then go into your Appaloosa. Summon this as well, so that's pretty free. To be honest, this is always a free thing. Kind of like how old Pendulum Magicians used to make it. We make it in this. Obviously, because we can search the level 7 Abyss Actor. Rank 4 toolbox, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Tornado Dragon. The go-to I'll make. You could make like Baguska just to stall out, but this deck doesn't really like the grunt game because we always pop our skills, so we need to win in the first few turns. I was just going to start top decking. Abyss Dweller, standard one you go into. If you know you're making a back row deck, so go in game 2, game 3, you can make a Tornado Dragon as well. I have actually had to use this quite funnily on my own scales once in a while, just to like get rid of the Cleethorpes Scout. Whatever floats your boat works. And then finally, extra deck, 1 Nova, 1 Infinity. Forgive me for the common, please. I got rid of my stuff. But yeah, Infinity is still a really good boss monster. slap it on top of the Cleave engine and start like sucking up your opponent's monsters. It outs most things that you can think of, and a negate is always a negate. So yeah, that's the extra deck. Moving on to the side deck now. This is where some of the spice comes in. So playing against Orcust or Thunder, my go-to side target when I'm going first. Yep, 3 fire barrier statues. I Pendulum summoned 2 of these against someone. They could not believe their eyes. It works. You Pendulum summon 2 of these, you can still make your fusions, still make Electromite. You can still super poly their board. I made this Alcahest, and I'd made Infinity before. No, I'd made... What did I make before? I made something before. But I made basically 3 boss monsters. And then in their turn, they normal summoned something. Alcahest just sucked it up and made it equip. And then in their turn, battle phase, attack, super poly into Crimson Knight for game. Yeah, really good. Against Salamangreat, obviously you don't want to side that in. Other 3 Nibiru. If I'm going second, this deck kind of sucks to go second because we need to use our scale effects, which, if they're negated, kind of hurt. So yeah, Nibiru just to clear some boards. If we're playing against Striker, 2 Apex Avian because the summon limits do nothing. So we just literally side out straight them into Apex Avian. Also, if you're just playing a deck where summon limit doesn't really hurt, it's like Draco, side in these just to build a board, bit extra negate. So yeah, moving on from the Apex Avians, 2 Denko Sekka for things like Old Guys Paleo, just the other back row decks that again summon limit doesn't hurt. Only problem is that it conflicts with things like Rescue Rabbit because this can't be pen summoned, so this has to be your normal summon. So maybe side out them as well for other things like the other back row hate. So if I'm playing against like back row decks, I side in the 2 Denko, the 3 evenly for the 3 Rescue Rabbit. So you lose your consistency, but I'd rather be able to play at all rather than being shut down by back row. So yeah, and then the final 2 Cosmic Cyclone, pretty much a standard back row. Most people main in this, but obviously because we're playing Pendulums, we can't really afford to main things that aren't engine pieces. That's why we're not playing hand traps in main. That's why we're not also playing Twin Twisters, because we can't afford to discard, because we need all the cards in our hand that we can get. Most people think, like, especially a couple of years ago, people thinking that Pendulums are broken, moving into Master of 4, but the way I always saw it was you have a hand of 3 cards rather than 5, because obviously you need 2 for your scales. That's why you need to plus a lot with this deck. Yeah, like, this is just a locals deck. It's a bit of fun that I've been messing around with. I absolutely love Metalfoes, favourite Pendulum deck. I will be updating this as I go on, alongside other decks. Events I'm going to soon, Southampton Regionals on the 24th. So if you see me there, obviously give me a shout. I'm going to be doing a vlog with the rest of Team Chai as we go. Don't know what deck I'm going to take this, probably not this. It'll be either obviously Gren Margie, my go-to standard list, or maybe something new like Marine Cess. I might try out the normal Pendulum deck. We'll keep you updated. Hopefully be uploading some videos from Chichester Locals. Shout out to them because they are on tonight. Can't really go to that anymore because obviously I now live somewhere else. Thank you guys. That was my Metalfoes deck profile. Sorry about the rush, but I haven't really got a lot of time to upload content at the moment. See you next time. Thank you guys.